All right, you guys, it's time for another stocking up video. Let's take a look at what we've been up to. The garden has been producing, our neighbors' gardens have been producing, and friends. And yeah, so that is what is happening here on our table. And today we wanted to share with you guys, there's some non-garden things here too, but what we're canning and what other items we've been stocking up on these last few weeks. I feel like stocking up doesn't end, which is okay. It's okay, it can't be all at once, that gets overwhelming. But anyway, we're gonna share with you guys what we've been up to. So first, I'm gonna have Julianne. It's sweet corn season is just coming to an end in Illinois here. We love sweet corn. You've seen our silly
cooler corn video.
Hey, but it worked. That's fine with me. That was Josh's idea. But Jules, tell us what you did. You canned up all the sweet corn. We just helped with shucking the corn. What was the process for the sweet corn?
Well, what I did is I took the raw corn that had been shucked and then I cut it off the cob with a nice sharp knife, and then I packed it into the jars, put in boiling hot water, a little bit of salt, and then pressure canned it for a pretty decent amount of time.
Yeah, follow the ball canning recommendations for that.
And we actually cut this, well, the first time we did it, we cut it inside, and it was so sweet and so sticky, and it got everywhere.
Yeah.
So we decided to move it outside, and we did all the cutting and preparing the corn outside. It was much cleaner this time.
Way better, yeah.
Much
it was
cleaner.
Way easier to clean up, just because it's worth it. And this, each one of these quarts, probably equivalent to 2 meals for our family. Whether you're eating it by itself as a side dish like we did last night with our dinner, or if you're putting it in something, it ends up being enough for 2 different meals. And you guys know my goal is always to have a year's worth of food in the house stacked up for my family. So everything I look at as, okay, how many meals is this? How much food does this make? You know, whether I'm looking at sweet corn and I think, okay, that's going, it's not a full meal, but it's going towards 2 meals. One of my, our family favorite things to do is to make some black beans in the Instapot. And we just season them with salt, pepper, onion powder,
garlic powder, simple stuff. And
take black beans and then put some sweet corn in with it and some fresh tomatoes if you have fresh garden tomatoes with some lime juice. It's such a good meal, such a fresh meal. So anyway, that's everything that we do. I always think about in terms of what does this mean to us in meals or for a meal. So this year we loved eating tons of sweet corn.
So we
fresh.
always do.
Yeah, fresh. But this year, so how many jars did you end up doing? Let's count them up because I didn't count them ahead of time.
18.
18 times 2. So again, my running numbers are always going in my head of like what meals are. And some of these things we have just begun doing, like our tomatoes are still going to keep coming in. We can talk about tomatoes next. But these are going to keep coming in, and instead of them going bad, we can them as they come in. So whether the grandma has tomatoes, we have tomatoes, our neighbors have tomatoes, and every time they bless us with them, which is wonderful. What's your process? Tell us for tomatoes.
So I just make the skin fall off the tomatoes, which you just slit the skin, put them into boiling water, and let them steam for a few minutes.
You pick the fresh tomatoes, bring them in, wash them.
Yes.
I'm helping her remember what she does. You wash them, you slit them.
Yes.
Go ahead, and then go from there.
And then you put them in a pot of boiling water, put the lid on, let it sit for like 5 minutes, and then you'll see the skin starts to peel up and off of the actual fruit. So then I like to drain them in the sink in a colander, and then run cold water over them because they are super hot. Super hot.
Very hot. They take a long time to cool down. I peeled them last time and it took a couple hours to be able to handle them. I don't know why.
And then you're able to just kind of slough the skin off of them. I like to core them, get rid of the fibers inside, and then I put them into my pot on the stove and then let them cook for a little bit. And then after they're cooked through completely, I like to use a stick blender and just make them all smooth. And then let it cook for another half an hour or so, and then jar them up. And I just water bath can these.
And we don't worry about it thickening or reducing. We don't want to lose any of the liquid in here. We also love seeds being in these are all things that we are totally fine with. We're fine with it being a little loose, fine with the seeds, because you can always thicken whatever you're making. Let's say you're making pasta sauce or whatever. I don't ever usually even need to add tomato paste to it, but I can if I want. I didn't put that out here. I should have put that out here. So we have tomato paste that is store-bought that you could add to any of your dishes, whether you're making a soup, like a tomato soup, or a chili, or a pasta sauce. Do we use this for anything else?
We dual purpose this as a tomato juice too, like for our chilies. Like we'll actually add water to it and water it down.
Because it's going to reduce when it's cooking for long periods of time. So yeah, this tomatoes, we use this for so many different meals. And this is about one meal for our family. I can turn this into soup. By the time you add I know it's only a quart, but by the time you add all the stuff to it, whether you're making chili, one of our favorite recipes that Grandma makes is her veggie soup. We use this for that. We use it for a pasta sauce. We already talked about that. So we use it for all sorts of things. You can make it for like a mastacholi, whatever you want to do. So this is all we have so far. I know it's hard to see probably. I think there's 16.
We still have at least this much left over from last year too.
Which we're still going through.
You were given tons of tomatoes last year when we were in Michigan.
But we will triple or quadruple this amount by the time the garden is done and all the tomatoes have come in. We were just kind of late to planting this year, so everything's coming in now.
Everything was late to planting this year.
Right, so every time we get tomatoes, we add to this stockpile. So this is a baby stockpile, still living off of last year's stockpile, but we will continue to do that. Also, just as an idea for you guys, we've been going through our salsa. Do you want to grab a salsa up there? We love our homemade salsa. And we actually just discovered a new recipe too. So we're doing salsas as well. We need to make a whole nother batch of that before the season's over to be able to put those away because salsa is one of our favorites to have and something easy to put, to stock up on. I already showed you guys that we're stocking up on chicken. We're going to be soon in the next 2 months. Our steer is going to be ready for harvest. Then we're going to have tons of ground beef that we're gonna have to can up or freeze. We'll see what we have space for. Both, maybe both, I don't know. So as soon as he's ready, we're gonna have way beyond a year's supply of beef alone. So between our chicken or beef, you can get tacos, enchiladas, all these things. I stockpile tortillas, we can make tortillas, so we do both. Same thing, we'll talk about pasta later, but anyway, so we have our salsa. It's a great thing to keep in the pantry, and it's a family favorite. I puree our salsa because I have kids that don't like chunks of tomatoes. One of them is videoing this right now. Okay, tuna. Do you guys like tuna? I really like tuna. I know people are like either love it or hate it type of thing, but tuna is my little kids actually love tuna. We have a good stock of tuna. I actually didn't need to buy any this year because I'm still working on my stock from last year. It lasts a long time. I just wanted to bring it up as an idea. I'm sure you guys have thought about that, but it is a cheap, healthy food to keep stocked in your pantry. Our favorite way to make tuna, and I'm just gonna tell you real quick, is with tuna, mayo, red onion chopped up, dill, chopped up pickles, dill pickles, yes.
A little bit of mustard.
It's kind of like relish. A little bit of mustard, salt, and pepper, and it is so good. We make our homemade crusty bread, which we have a video on how to do that if you guys want to check it out. But we put it on crusty bread, just open face, and it's so good. It's one of our favorite little quick meals if you need. But anyway, we have plenty of tuna stocked up, plenty of our homemade bread product items, ingredients, so that is an easy meal to have. Okay, what should we go on to next?
This.
Tell us about this.
This is our applesauce, and you probably actually saw us make this applesauce in one of our couple of videos ago. I don't know what video it'll be.
Yeah, you guys can go check it out again, but someone had gifted us between our apple tree out back and her apple tree, we had 200 pounds of apples here. This is all that's left, and we still need to make one more batch of applesauce out of that, but we made apple butter. We'll talk about that in a minute. Applesauce. I like stocking up the applesauce the most though, because it's the most practical for our family.
Yeah.
Because it's just hearty food.
Yeah.
And we also added into things like our baked oatmeal, which we're going to talk to you guys about in a future video soon here too. Why don't you tell us about what you did with the applesauce?
Well, I chopped and cored and peeled all the apples, put them in my pot.
With helpers.
Yes. And then I let it cook down for a bit, added all my ingredients, and canned it up. If you want to see the full process, we have the apple stocking up video.
Yeah, the 4 ways. Well, yeah, there's the
ways,
picking, and then there's the 4 ways to put away apples in your pantry. We have that video. We will link it here. But you're seeing 2 of those things here. So you're seeing the applesauce and the apple butter. Apple butter is just one of those fun things that we're putting up that we have not done before. It is so pretty. I know you guys can't see the color of it in the video, but it's just so rich. Yeah, caramely color. Really good. This is something that's more like a treat, kind of like the jams and jellies that we've already showed you guys that we put up for the year. They are just kind of a treat, you know, that when you have homemade bread, instead of just eating that alone,
really good.
or whatever, if you needed to come up with a meal, putting some apple butter on it, or even taking an apple and dipping it in this, or whatever, you know, you can, it's more of like a treat to put up. So we have plenty of that for the year for us, because we will not go through it very quickly. Things like jam, like the blueberry, the strawberry lemonade jam, which we have a video on, the mango jam, all those things we go through much more quickly because it's really good.
I made an apple butter bread, like a spiced apple butter bread.
That's right.
That was really good. I'm gonna make it again.
She was experimenting with ways to use the apple butter, and it was really good. It was like a mix between a zucchini bread and
pumpkin bread.
Pumpkin.
It's in the same category as those kind of things.
Yeah,
but it was very good.
It was really tasty, and we put chunks of apples in it.
Yeah, I did.
We've been finding very creative ways to use apples around here. I'll tell you what. And we found out the steer likes apples too, so that's fun. Okay, let's move on. So we talked about the apple butter. Whole strawberries. Whole strawberries. Tell me about, this is not strawberry jam.
No.
These are just whole strawberries. Tell us what you did with that.
So those, I just removed the tops and let sit in a bowl with a little bit of sugar, not much, just enough to help extract the juice. And then you just heat them up quickly on the stove and then throw them in the jar and can them. They're very, very simple, and those will be really good in like strawberry shortcakes with biscuits and all those things.
Yeah, or you could put in oatmeal. I mean, you could do it with, we have lots of oats. You know, we have a video coming out for you guys. You saw back on our stock up trip after we went to Michigan and we went to Country Life Natural Foods. I bought 50 pounds of oats, which is a lot of oatmeal, but really not, yeah, that's why we're not gonna just make oatmeal. But really for my family, for a year, it's practical and it's not gonna go bad in that amount of time. And one of the things we make with that is our baked oatmeal, which you can put blueberries in, you can put strawberries in. So anyway, we will talk about that. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button so that you can follow along as we're going through all of this and sharing these recipes with you. We've got some fun videos coming up. One of those is our baked oatmeal, which is a family favorite right now. Okay, so strawberries are there. Okay, Marie made up. You can be the representative for Marie since she's videoing for us, but Marie, you know, if you guys get, we got awesome jalapenos from our garden this year. We had people gift us some red peppers from their garden. This was our first year making, this is red pepper jelly. Let me get that out. This is red pepper jelly, and it is really good. We had some for the first time at my sister's house last time we were in Michigan, or 2 times ago, and it was so good. We were like, hey, let's make that with these peppers. It's just a good way to use up your peppers from your garden, your jalapenos from your garden. So again, this is kind of like a treat. Some of these things, if you're stocking up and you're having to eat from your pantry at home, you might as well have a few fun things that you can enjoy. It doesn't have to be all about the vegetables, you know, and the meats. It can be some fun stuff too. So we made that up. One of our favorite things to do is to take a block of cream cheese while we have it. You don't have to use this, but a block of cream cheese, pour the pepper jelly over and get some crackers out, and lunch is served. It's like really good. You can also use veggies to dip in there and different things like that. Do we use that for anything else? You could pour it over chicken. It'd be great with the homemade mozzarella, which Julianne and Marie show you how to make in one of our videos. So anyway, you can go check that out. So I think we tried 3 different varieties of pepper jelly this year. We tried the red pepper, we tried the jalapeno only, and then we tried red pepper flake jelly, which was also very good. So
We didn't can that though, I don't think. We didn't
no, we
have
just
enough.
ate that. We just ate that. That was fun. I don't know. Well, we're deciding which one's our favorite. For me, right now, the red pepper jelly is my favorite. I thought it turned out the most, tasted like the one that we tried up at Aunt Jenny's house. Okay, where are we at?
Same.
Zucchini relish. This is a staple in our house. This is my dad's recipe that we use. And again, can you see these zucchinis up here? We haven't even like made a dent in our zucchinis, but we have plenty of zucchini relish for the year. We're already done with that. I love being able to check something off my list and be like, okay, we're done. We have a year's worth of that. We don't need to do any more of that. And zucchini relish is one of those things. Applesauce is one of those things. Sweet corn, sweet corn, tuna, you can just check it off your list and say, okay, I'm good. I have this many meals that I can make out of that. But all of these zucchinis were gifted to us from a neighbor, which was really sweet. But most of the time, besides relish, what do we do with our zucchini?
I chop and freeze it, or I grate and freeze it so it can be used in either our pasta sauce or in zucchini breads or muffins.
And
that kind of
you
things.
do not blanch it.
I do not blanch it.
You just freeze it.
Yep.
And of course, there are children in the room right now listening, but I wish they were not. But usually I take the zucchini that's been frozen, and anytime I make soup, anytime I make chili, anything
Pasta
like
sauce.
that, pasta sauce, I secretly, it's not secret anymore, I secretly put zucchini in there as a way to use it, as adding extra nutrition and all of that. So anyway, the cat's out of the bag.
It bulks it up too.
It does bulk it up. So again, you're taking, one jar of this, but you're taking one Ziploc bag of the frozen zucchini, and it just boosts up the amount of food that is in that pot, plus all the other veggies and stuff that are going into it. So anyway, you can't even taste it, but they love zucchini bread.
Yes.
So when we do have fresh, we make lots of zucchini bread. You can make a bulk supply of zucchini bread. You can keep that in the freezer, and it freezes great. And you can bring it out and have it available. That's pretty much with any of your breads that you wanted to do, you can do that with. Okay, let's talk about pasta. Pasta was one of the things that I was on the fence about stocking up on. Usually when I'm buying pasta for my family, I prefer organic pasta. But because the shelf life for these pastas is so long, and this was very inexpensive. So these were $1 each, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna stock up tons. And I have probably triple this amount of pasta, dried pasta downstairs in our stockpile, but I didn't want to bring it all up. So, but I was like, okay, in case of an emergency, am I going to obsess about the healthy organic pasta? And I said no. So I decided to go ahead and stock up. So here we have a variety. So I got my lasagna noodles, macaroni penne, orzo, linguine. I've got a whole mix of different things just to match it up with our sauce here. And it would, one of these equal a meal. So again, when I'm counting in my head how many meals things equal up to be, this is one meal for my family. What is our favorite pasta to eat though?
Homemade pasta.
Say it louder.
Homemade pasta.
Homemade pasta. Julianne makes homemade pasta, which is really, really our favorite. And again, you guys saw in that video where we stocked up from items from Country Life that we had bought semolina flour, and we have plenty of eggs in our stockpile. What else goes into there? Regular flour. So we have all that already. So this is like backup pasta, because
this is much quicker to make than homemade pasta.
If you're ever running late too, you need to throw something in, it's an easy meal. Way better, million times better. I don't care that it's not organic, way better than going through a drive-thru or something like that. So this is easy to keep, but our favorite thing, but it is time consuming, is the homemade pasta. It really is the best. If you guys want to learn how to do that and see how to do that, we could probably do a video on that.
Yeah, we've actually been planning on one.
We just haven't done it yet, because usually Julianne's trying to do that in the midst of everyone else doing other things, so it's not quiet enough. My house is not that quiet, you guys, so doing videos like this are kind of strategic. So anyway, so we've got our pasta. Okay, I think we only have 2 more things to talk about today. One of those things are maple syrup, okay? This is a half gallon of maple syrup. And I'm almost ashamed to admit how much syrup we use in our house. But again, our favorite syrup is my dad's homemade syrup. It is the best. But because it is so good, I refuse to use it like in baking and in
that is for pancakes and French toast and crepes and those kind of things.
That's for like the best stuff. You save it for like the best because it's so good. But our local Rural King, you've seen us get animal food from there before, animal feed from there. Our Rural King sells a half gallon of syrup for $19.99. And I don't know about where you guys live, but that is a great price where we live. And so I keep these. Again, I'm not going to admit to you how many of these that I have, but these are a staple in our pantry because we use them for everything. Not only do we use them to sweeten the oats when we make oatmeal or to sweeten the baked oatmeal, we use it in baking all the time, sweetening up things instead of using sugar. Maple syrup is kind of our go-to. Plus all the benefits. There's so many good benefits to eating maple syrup, just even in the minerals alone.
That is just delicious.
It is delicious, especially Grandpa's, but we're not going to waste Grandpa's on sweetening zucchini bread. I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyway, maple syrup is a staple. We have plenty of these. And when they have them in stock, I will probably get more because they're really, really good. Okay, last but not least, this is not a food item. You want to grab one of those? These little lanterns behind us. This is more just like a household item, but these little lanterns behind us, we have more than just these. Are our little oil lamps. So if you are ever without power, these guys are functional. They have been working, and I keep these in stock in our house. We actually light them in the morning every morning. On the winter mornings when it's dark for a long time, it's just, I don't know, it's nice. It's just nice to have. But we have them in case of emergency. And the regular lamp oil that you can buy is pretty gross and toxic, and it has a strong fume. Well, I don't want that stuff going in my house. So one of the items that we stock up in our basement is this clean fuel. I'm sure there's other brands, but this brand is Firefly. I got this off of Amazon, and it is a clean fuel. It is odorless, sootless, no additives, and you can use it it's safe for indoor use. So if you're going to be stocking things for in case of power outages or losing electricity, I just make sure you're buying stuff that you want your family breathing.
Let's not suffocate our family.
Yeah, the other ones have cancer warnings on them at the bottom, and it's just okay. You got to just think those things through. So that's something that I have not shown you guys yet that I wanted to show you today. And I think that's it for now. Like I said, stocking up is it never ends here, and that's okay. It's not a burden. It actually makes me feel happy. It makes me feel at peace, at rest, when I can think about all the different meals that I have put up in my house. If I had to live, if we had to live off of the food in the basement, we absolutely could with no problem at all. And it's important to note too, I know that not everybody is raising their own chickens. Not everybody is raising their own steer or having a huge garden. Not everybody can do that, and that's okay. That's where the $1 pasta or the canned tomato sauce, the canned corn, it's something. It's something you can put up and you can put away to know that, hey, in case of emergency, I've got a meal if I just put together these few things. And again, our perspective we shared in a video. Josh and I sat down and talked in a video about why we stock, why we prep. So go check that out. It's not out of fear, it's out of being prepared and having food put up for our family in case of emergency. And it's fun to get the whole family involved. I know Julianne's the only one here with me here, but all of the children help. You saw that in the 4 ways to do apples video. It's a family effort. So get everybody involved. teach them, show them how to do it, and it can be a team effort so it's not so overwhelming. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. And yeah, if you have any questions or any recommendations, leave them down in the comments, and we'll see you next time.